you want to get a KOM on Strava, or if you want to get really close, I'm going to show you how using a technique I call torso tracking today. And torso tracking, what it is it helps you get more speed when you can't necessarily get other speed other ways, like pedaling or by braking less. And so this is just something that allows you to find speed on different parts of the trail. David Davidson here of Mountain Bike Academy, co-founder. So all this begs the question, how much does torso tracking actually help you go faster? Well, what I did is I did 3 or 4 different identical runs using a tall passive position, a low passive position, and then what I did is an active torso tracking, like full, as fast as I could go, using that torso to give me the speed boosts. And I recorded the times. You're gonna see which one wins and by how much. When you use this technique, I mean, you're gonna feel really good. It's as hard as I'm gonna try to promote this to you, because when I talk to riders who I work with and they get this, they go, oh my gosh, it's like so much more fun. And that's what it's about. So today I'm just gonna share these ideas with you. And if you watch closely, you're going to see some things that maybe you haven't even seen before if you're an intermediate rider or an advanced rider, so pay close attention. I'm gonna put those details in and hold nothing back. So let's get after it. Look, everyone's gonna tell you to like pedal faster or look where you wanna go, get in better shape. All those things will help you, but we're gonna do the opposite today. We're going to start from exactly where you are on the trail, and instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move our torso and our bodies around the torso, and the result is going to be way better control, a lot more speed. So first things first, what is torso tracking? Torso tracking is looking at the trail and putting your torso where it's about to need to be. So if you got a left turn or a right turn, it means we're twisting the torso, we're leaning in, we're going where we're about to need to be. It means if the trail goes down, we're loading up the bike by crouching down and getting ready to push. And some people may call this pumping, but pumping is actually the way you apply force through the trails, not necessarily how your torso is moving, okay? So that's the difference. Another thing is too, as well, as if the trail is coming up, you get a speed penalty when your tires touch the ground when the trail's going up. So if the trail's going up, what we want to do is we want to actually either jump over or lighten the bike up there. And one way to do that is through torso tracking. So the first thing we're gonna do is a cool little drill called a kinetic squat. I'll walk you guys through it right now. What a lot of people don't realize is that this is a pretty athletic thing. You have to be able to be an athlete if you wanna be a really good mountain biker. So when you're doing the kinetic squat, what it does is it actually activates the anterior and the posterior chain. And what it does is it articulates your ankles, your knees, it articulates your hips, and it also forces you to kind of support the torso up here using your core muscles. And this is what you got to do on the trail. If you can't do this, then torso tracking doesn't really work. You can copy the body position, but ultimately copying the body position without using the right muscles, and you'll lack power. In other words, you'll kind of, try to push on the bike and it'll just kind of feel weak, or you won't hear the sound of the tires like whop, whop, whop as you're pushing down into the divots in the ground and getting that traction. It's really important to be able to actually move like an athlete in order to do torso tracking to begin with. So starting there, now let's move on to the actual technique itself. So here's a cool GoPro example. I'll kind of let you listen to it. Listen with your ears to how the tires sound. The tires sounding that whop sound, it's a result of me taking my torso and using it as a counterweight and pushing the tires away from the direction I want to turn or the direction I want to move my torso. So if I'm turning right, I want to push down and left on the tires really hard like this. If I'm turning left, I want to push down into the right, rider's right, and that's going to create that force that's going to push me over to where I want to go. Also, if I'm going up and down over rollers, I need to be able to get that speed boost on the downslope, and you're going to hear it when I move directly up and I push my feet down. Now, if you want to give this torso tracking a really good boost, you can do what Steve Smith did back in I think it was 2013 at the Crankworx AirDH up in Whistler, I believe it was. And if you watched him, he was the only rider taking the tabletops, and he would jump before he would get to the tabletop. Perfect. And bunny hop over the jumps and land on the downsides. And what this did is it gave him literally the win because he wasn't paying the penalty of riding up the upslope. Now, when you're playing with this technique out on the trail, you can do it anywhere. You can do it over a route. You can land on the backside of a route. You can do it over a big tabletop like this. You can do it over rollers. You can even do it over steps in urban environments, wherever you want to apply it. It's a pretty useful tool, so give it a try. Now, final note on torso tracking is that it's not just good to pump and use the trail to your advantage. You can also completely dodge technical features such as rocks that come out at you and roots that come out at you. And when you're putting your torso where it needs to be, you can also, think about it. When you're out of the trail and there's something that might bobble you or slow you down, what if you just got over it completely or just brushed the tires over the top? So that's exactly what I would recommend you give it a try. So have you ever seen a rider who just looks really, really smooth and in control? Probably what they're doing is a version of torso tracking. And the way you got to think about it is the trail is always helping you, okay? So a lot of people think about rocks and roots and they're like afraid of it because it's technical to ride over it. It's, it can be a little intimidating to look at, but what you need to do is think about rocks and roots, especially if they're in a shape like this. You can think about them like a roller and they're your friend. And the way you can use these rocks and roots to use torso tracking is to put your torso where it needs to be and then fill in the gaps with the tires below you as you fly over the obstacle. I gotta tell you, man, this is one of the most fun things you can possibly do. I was surprised myself when I was filming this for you guys, and I was like, okay, well, one way is gonna feel decent and the other way is gonna feel a little bit decenter. And I was actually shocked. I felt really, I felt restricted and like I wanted to go home when I was too crouched or when I was too tall and I was just standing there and trying to hold my position for dear life. And when I was moving dynamically, I caught myself giggling a little bit, and you're gonna see like a little bit of a David being a giggle box. Pump, pump. Oh man. A little off this side, so much more fun. Again, how you think about this though is the rocks and the roots, they're not your foe, they're your free ride friend. So embrace them, hug those trees, hug those roots. Don't hug the trees by crashing into them, hug them by being happy that they're there. All right. Okay, we're gonna start from the same spot every time. First time, same amount of pedal strokes and kind of tall and passive. Let's go. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Nice. Go lunch. All right, so that first one felt fine right here on the easy part of the trail, but as soon as I started getting pitched forward, it's pretty awful. So, all right, same gear, same starting spot. We'll throw the timer up in screen post-production, 20th Century Fox style. All right, let's go. This one is low, so staying too low and passive. Just bending the knees a lot. Oh, interestingly enough, feet almost came off the pedals. Whew. So for that one, yeah, I don't know which one felt sketchier. Probably, it was interesting. My torso was all good. Wasn't getting pitched around as much, but my feet literally came off the pedals. Didn't feel good. So this round we're gonna do just the correct amount of movement for this. So I'm gonna be pedaling, pumping every corner, standing tall where I need to save energy, getting down low, and putting my torso on the most efficient path. So let's go. Woohoo! Oh, dude, that's way more fun for one thing. Oh man, that's good. All right, so this is, again, we're gonna mix them up so that I don't have, so that I don't overemphasize one technique over the other. This is going to be passive and tall. Passive and tall. Here we are. Gonna pedal right up to before the left-hand turn. Passive and tall. So not pumping, just holding on for dear life. You can see how that looks on the other screen. All right, we're gonna be in a nice low position and passive, so, excuse me. Low and passive means I'm just taking bumps as they come through my feet, letting everything articulate the way it wants to and not resisting it. Just holding my torso as low as I can. Now this one does give me a feeling of stability. I'm like super crouched. Last time my feet come off. Oh God, barely held on. Whew. Big time pedal press there. Barely held on to the pedals. So that's, yeah, it definitely rocks you around. One of my favorite things about these clutch derailleurs, you can just let them loose, baby. If y'all haven't tried a 1x chainring, you need to. Very nice. So a lot of people ask, why do I wear black? Well, I sent off a design idea to my logo designer and came back, you know, like it is. That's one, and so it matches, you know, real deep, it matches. And because if you haven't lived in the South, that clay does not come out of anything, period. All right, so this is run number two of just being as dynamic, torso tracking as much as possible. Key here, really engaged core, moving around, finding traction everywhere. Pump, pump. Oh man. A little off this side, it's so much more fun. That was a little bit of a sketchy line coming into it. I think I got a little close to the tree. Felt good. All right, run number 3, tall passive. Same gear, same settings. Just gonna pedal up that left turn and get after it. This one feels so goofy in the corners and a little sketchy there. Whew. It really pulls you down when you when all the bike does is tip down a couple degrees. Scary. Okay, round 3, low and passive. I'm looking behind me, make sure no one's gonna run into me. So staying low, nice and crouched. All right, big old pedal press, keep it alive. Okay, God, that's terrifying. Whew. The thing is, I feel it in my hands. And it does not make me want to go faster, even though I'm low. It's one of the myths of attack position is that it feels better. It feels just crouched and compact without necessarily the benefit of movement. I feel like I'm all locked up. Need my freedom. Okay, final little run at it. Tiny little bit winded, that's okay. Number 3 of active, dynamic, torso tracking. Let's see how fast I can go here. Just crank it. Little pump there, little pump here, pump, pump. Oh yeah. That feels good, baby. Give me more, give me more, give me more. Slap. Whew. Oh yeah. Dude, like if you're not doing this, what are you doing? What are you even doing? So much fun. I want to wrap this up with a couple tips for you when it comes to body movement and mobility. And if you are someone who sits at a desk 3 hours a day or more, or your career, you're successful at it, but you look at yourself and you go, wow, I kind of paid the price a little bit now that I can afford a mountain bike and I can afford the time and my kingdom's under control a little bit, so to speak. You look at yourself and you realize, I don't quite move the way that I used to. Hey, no problem. I've been there before myself. I know exactly what that's like. And I've got a couple recommendations for you. So I did mention the kinetic squat earlier in this video. Another one that you need to be practicing is the horse stance hold. I cover that in depth in my this movie over here, this one over here that I did, that talks about kind of what the importance of the core is and how important it is. Once we're talking about torso tracking, we're moving away from just pure mobility into also you need a little bit of raw strength to do this. The two most important things, in my opinion, for mountain biking are, number one, just core strength, core mobility, anything that attaches to the hips or the lower rib cage, the lower back. You have to be able to move it. And so one thing I actually recommend is doing something called a thoracic spine car daily. And what you want to do is get your hips and your butt really tight, and you want to kind of isolate any movement below the rib cage, and you want to turn your rib cage on top of kind of a locked up lower body. And this thoracic spine controlled articular rotation, again, it's called a T-spine car, will help you with mobilizing that kind of part of your body right above the core. And when we mobilize it, and we also add strength to it by doing the horse stance holds, it can have a massive dramatic impact on your riding. So you have to do these. These are like, let me put it this way. If you sit at a desk 3 hours a day and you don't do these movements and you go out and you expect to move like this, it's extremely unlikely that it will happen without injury, without feeling tight, and without feeling like you're at your best. Your athleticism is the limit to how good you can do torso tracking. So I highly recommend you do, again, T-spine cars, horse stance holds, and the kinetic squat from the beginning. Now, finally, let me wrap this up with how it should feel on the trail. And something that we don't do a lot of for all the desk workers out there. Again, I'm kind of honing in on you guys because y'all are the worst. Again, I used to do it too. I used to sit at a desk 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. And the price I paid for that was when I went out to the trails, I couldn't ride as good as I used to. No surprise. So how did I fix it? What I did is I started doing a daily movement routine. And this is something we cover in Mountain Bike Breakthrough. It's our coaching and community kind of a linear progress thing. So if you do it, you get the result, we take you straight to it. But I want to give you guys a little bit of an insight here on the free side, which is just flat out, look, you need to articulate your hips and your knees. If you want to see what my point is, go record yourself trying out torso tracking. What you're going to see is you're probably going to see a very passive hip. You're not going to see a lot of hinging at the hip. You're going to see, if you do see hinging at the hip, your knee is probably going to be very straight or very bent, and it's going to stay there. Okay, so you need to move like an accordion. And the best way to practice this, again, is those kinetic squats, really building the mind-muscle connection as much as you can. And then when you go out to the trail, remember the feeling of how your body compresses and how it stands up, and just do it fast. And that's the fun part, is when you can move and you have that mobility and you combine it with really good raw strength in the legs. And a lot of you guys, you're power lifters, you've spent a lot of years riding your bike, you actually do have some good leg strength that you can now call on because your torso and your core is engaged and it's activated. So really work towards that, because when you do, there's nothing better. Again, you saw me giggling a few minutes ago about this. It really is, I don't want to say life-changing because that's hyperbolic, but it's what we signed up for when we purchased our multi-$1,000 mountain bike, hoping that we could catch that feeling. So again, fitness, super important. Torso tracking, it's really fun. I'm David Davidson. I'm here to share with you the very best tips on mountain biking possible. I'm here to help a million riders shred with confidence. Hopefully this helped you today. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. If you want more, Go check out my 12 beginner basics video. Even if you're an intermediate rider, pay special attention to the pedal press, pay special attention to the tall and low position. I go into a little bit of depth of some of the basics of this move, and I hope to see you there. See you next time. Peace.